Hi, everyone. We just announced our Series A led by Khosla Ventures. Fusion Fund participated in this round as well. And I have Lu from Fusion Fund here today, who's been supporting us since, the seed stage. Welcome, Lu.
Hi, Lucas.
Thank you so much for joining me for this quick session. You're a founding partner at Fusion Fund. For those out there who aren't familiar with Fusion, what is Fusion Fund focused on? What type of startups are you interested in? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, happy to. So I'm the founder managing partner of a Fusion Fund. We've been focusing on early stage investment across the United States since 2015. So we focus on three vertical: healthcare, enterprise AI, and industrial automation. And within enterprise AI, we also do both application and AI infrastructure, lots of cloud info. And one of top performing company is Loft. So we're very honored and happy to lead the seed round of the Loft Labs since a couple of years ago. And I've been very honored to serve as a board member working closely with Lukas since then.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely been a great ride since then. You led our seed round, as you mentioned, and now you vested again as part of our Series A. What makes you so bullish about Loft?
First is always start with the market opportunity. I think what Loft is focused on in terms of Kubernetes integration, that is not only a big market, it's also a rapid growing market. Now with the nomadic discussion of the AI, with more complicated structure of the cloud infra, it's critical to have a solution like Loft to make it seamlessly integrated Kubernetes integration. And also it's such an easy solution to utilize for both a smaller company to large Fortune 500. So market opportunity is the number one thing when we evaluate the company opportunity. The second thing is really the solution technology. vCluster has been one of the top really solution in the open source community, and the vCluster Pro also make a strong buzz around the enterprise application. So we see strong differentiation of the technology and very high entry barrier for other players in this market. And last not the list is really the team. Lukas has been amazing founder and also serial entrepreneur, very down to earth, very humble, quite amazing, not only product end, but also team. I think Lukas is representative of how awesome the Loft team is. And meanwhile, we keep surprised, impressed by the awesome talent brought in by the company from the both engineer end and also the advisor and also the business expert.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much for that overview. As you mentioned, you joined our company board at the seed stage. That was the first time, obviously, for me to run a board since then. So definitely a lot of learnings. How important is it for you to kind of establish those formalities early on in a company?
Yeah. I want to share a little bit more about my personal background because I was an entrepreneur myself, and I built and sold my company before I so-called went to a dark side, started a VC firm, Fusion Fund. So my first board experience was actually on your end, and I was a founder and handling the board. And later, as an investor from the other side of the table, really see having a functional board, have the right structure, not only is for governance. I think people always understand the board as a governance vehicle, but it's more for grow and late stage company. Early stage board is more about a sounding supporter to the founder and be able to help founder think ahead of a potential risk in front. And also when company are going through this very bumpy early stage situation, even something crazy like last year was a Silicon Valley bank run, right? How to be prepared and also how to be able to have the action plan quickly come back to the right direction. So I think that it's very important to have the right board around you, and also it's very important to set up the proper board structure at the early beginning. We do have internal training material. You have a copy of that as well, called How to Manage and Guide Your Board. It becomes super popular to founder, especially after the drama with OpenAI. We have lots of founder reach out to us saying they want to read that again. So yeah, that's very important. But I think you are doing a wonderful job to running the board meeting, keep the board member engaged and the communication, and our conversation within the board has been super efficient.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely think we have a good dynamic in our board meetings as well. I always look forward to them, although it's quite a bit of work sometimes preparing the slides and getting them, sent out a few days ahead. So sorry if they, may come a little short notice sometimes. But yeah, you mentioned Silicon Valley Bank. We've been definitely through an interesting time since you invested in 2021, quite a roller coaster, investing at the height of the pandemic. And then, we were fortunate enough to still meet in person, I guess, before you invested. But since then, the macroeconomic climate has definitely taken quite a turn in 2022. Sales cycles getting longer, valuations dropping, funding environment getting a little bit more challenging. And then you mentioned it, right? Silicon Valley Bank going under. Like, so many things have happened in that time since you invested. Do you have any advice in general for founders, having to go through increasingly, I would say, unpredictable times?
Yeah. Be able to quickly adapt to the new situation is one of the critical capability for founder. Because you're right, the market is evolving very fast, and unfortunately, we're in this kind of crazy world right now. Lots of things are happening in financial market, geopolitical issue, but also a good problem to have is technology evolves so fast. Every time you look at it as a challenge, there always opportunity came along. So for smaller startups, why startup exists? Startup are looking for new opportunity not being captured by the large corporate yet. So when there's challenge come along, most of the time would benefit the startup more if you are able to identify the opportunity. So for founder, I always look at the situation that way is important and quickly adapting to the so-called crisis mode, have an action plan. And also before that, make sure you're surrounding by the right people. People including your team member, your co-founder, and also your investor and the board member. People share your vision, very dedicated to the mission, and also have a complementary or diverse the industry background connection to help you to grow.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, surrounding yourself with the right people can definitely help, and that obviously includes the right VCs. I remember when the Silicon Valley Bank disaster happened, and we were fortunate in the sense that we did have funds in other bank accounts, but there were definitely some amount of our capital was frozen up. I remember us having that board session, kind of like emergency meeting to like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? And you and obviously the other funds investing emergent in surface ventures immediately were like, hey, we'll put together essentially an offer to invest and cover that amount. We want you to not worry about it and keep going. And that was very, very reassuring for me. I obviously did everything I could to kind of prepare for the situation by having multiple accounts, but who would have thought this was going to happen? And then it was great to see that level of backing. So thank you so much again for stepping it up in that situation.
Yeah, our pleasure. And also, I think you did a wonderful job in terms of really turn that so-called challenging market situation into opportunity in the past 1 year with almost 4x revenue growth, and also making a big name and a strong reputation in the open source community, which also carry over to the official enterprise sales cycle and be able to onboarding over 100 company as a customer. I think we joined together as a great team and surrounding with each other with the right domain expertise make it happen.
Yeah, you've obviously, seen a lot of infra products. You have a lot of infra products in your portfolio as well. What do you think is it that draws people to vCluster and specifically right now in this environment? Why is the enterprise so excited about what we're doing?
I think number one thing, you probably also have different feedback from the customer. First thing is the solutions are so easy to integrate and so easy to use. I feel it sounds simple, but it's very critical. Sometimes in Silicon Valley, we're obsessed with, okay, we have a super fancy solution. But when your solution is fancy, is that easy for your customer to integrate and implement? And sometimes customer would stop saying that the implementation cost is so high. But I feel for Loft, the implementation is so easy. Start with open source and later to the directly vCluster Pro, and the customer just could deploy it right away on prime remote. I think that's the number one thing. Second thing is essentially really the evolving market situation and open up the market opportunity. And not only just the company in the tech sector think about we need to integrate Kubernetes. Every company, before they think about their AI strategy, data strategy, they need to make sure they integrate Kubernetes and how to do it. If they don't have strong domain in-house expertise, they want to use solution like Loft. Even they have domain expertise and also in-house talent, also Loft the solution make it much easier and also cost efficient for them to do so. So fundamentally, I think this is the number one thing and number two thing.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, it's definitely what we're seeing as well. Especially the low barrier of entry definitely helps. Being open source, having easy entryway to just explore technology and kind of get started before you even talk to a salesperson. Definitely helps. We're building a fully distributed team here at Loft. Pretty much all of our interactions are remote via Zoom, etc. Despite us, obviously being out of that awful pandemic time. Are we an outlier in your portfolio, or are there others that fully Zoom first and may not even have an office anymore?
Yeah, we have a couple portfolio become a fully remote. I think the advantage of doing so is first, it's really be able to benefit from the international talent and global talent. Not only Silicon Valley has the top talent, another thing we have to admit, Silicon Valley talent is quite expensive, and the competition between large and smaller startup is become harsher. But on the other side, you're originally from Europe. There are tons of top talent from Europe. There are lots of great talents from Canada, from different countries, and that they could potentially be part of the startup journey if you allow this flexibility to have the distributed team. And meanwhile, another thing is we joke about you could work around the clock 24/7. Always have someone on and make sure, especially serving customer and get a response. But of course, also we think it's important to get together regularly for team member to build a team morale, to recognize the team culture, and be able to just learn from each other. Especially for the new member and the junior people to learn from the existing members. I know you guys does that so. I know you guys get together regularly to do so. We also encourage other founder who have distributed team to do the similar thing.
Yeah, especially I feel like for us, going to conferences, and then that's a good kind of way to combine, meeting the team together, but also getting some work done in the same place. We were just in Paris for KubeCon last month. That's always obviously super exciting. Everybody loves obviously to travel to Paris, but then meeting your teammates there on the ground is great, but also meeting users and, just being in touch with the community, I think is obviously very, very important to the DNA of our company and making sure we're really at the pulse of, where the ecosystem is moving. Now that we, obviously reached this, amazing milestone of closing our Series A round, what's your advice for me personally and, for the company as a whole, to kind of level it up from here?
Yeah, I think you guys, the team did a great job in terms of strong market validation, strong go-to-market strategy, and also got a really benchmark customer kind of behind you and be able to develop more use cases on top of the existing platform. So I feel for Series A round is really about the hyper growth. So we had such a successful Series A round running, it's our inbound interest and to make the run happening. So now with more capital, with more talents, we definitely expected to see not only just a purely revenue number, but also more product offering and also be able to really become the vertical number one. I think you guys are vertical number one already. We just want to make that name even stronger. Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, executing on the roadmap is definitely a high priority for us, and yeah, really kind of conquering the whole market is I guess the next big challenge, and we're definitely working pretty hard to get there. Thank you so much for joining for this quick session, Lu. It was a pleasure. I'm very much looking forward to continue working with you, obviously in the board and as one of our earliest backers. I hope the session was helpful for everyone to meet one of our earliest supporters and the lead of our seed round. And if you're as fired up about vCluster and vCluster Pro as Lu and her team are, you can find us at vCluster.com or join our Slack channel at slack.vcluster.com. Yeah, I'll see you there. Thanks, Lu.
Thank you, Lucas.